very warm welcome back to all our families and welcome to all our new families joining EYC this year. Now, this picture or this image on the screen kind of summarizes everything that we want to look at in this presentation or this video. And we want to quickly look at the faces at EYC and see who are the people that children will meet on their online Zooms as well as face-to-face once we return to school. We're going to look at the EYC way and our approach to learning. We're going to quickly review the continuous learning at EYC for our returning families, and our new families also had this information in the session already, but it's good to just recap some of that. We're also going to quickly do a flyover of the ILD, our interactive learning diary. Right. You can see on the screen as well, we're looking there at the dates for your diary for the first term. The zones of regulation is going to play a really important part in giving our students the language to talk about their emotions as we focus on social and emotional learning with our students this year. Belonging, that's really important for us, and it's kind of one of the pillars of that social and emotional learning, and making sure our students are happy and safe and feel supported. And we're going to spend a lot of time and effort to make sure that everybody, parents, teachers, and students, belong in the EYC community. The links there are quite useful, and I will share the slide deck with families so you can click on them. Now, here are some of the faces that you will see at EYC. In our nursery class, we have Miss Katrina, Miss Ashley, and Miss Malati. Then in reception, we have in our tiger class, Miss Ratna and Miss Sangeeta. The monkey class is Miss Kim and Miss Jaswant, and the rhino class, Miss Sadia and Miss Heather. Our earliest leader is Miss Fatima, and she will oversee all the academic care in the Early Years Center. Some other faces. Our Mandarin teachers are Miss Adeline and Miss Cassandra, and they make sure that our students acquire Mandarin that they need, and they do it in a very interesting way, and that's working alongside the students within the units when we're face-to-face, and you will have the privilege to experience the fantastic modeling videos that they share during our continuous learning to get the students engaged in learning that language as well. Mr. Fahmy is our PE specialist, and Mr. Evans is our music specialist. And they both come in once a week to do physical education and music with our students when we are face-to-face. They will also contribute to the continuous learning slides. Miss Merrill and Miss Reginda are our relief teachers, and they are the fantastic people who step in when any of our staff are not able to be at school. And they also give fantastic support, so those extra helping hands when we need them. Ms. Jo is our learning support teacher, and then myself, Mr. Etienne, the assistant head of primary and heavily involved in what happens at EYC. Our cleaners, Ms. Siti, Ms. Suki, and Mr. Jamal, and Ms. Suri, they make sure that the school is always in a spotless condition. Mr. Shambu and Mr. Red are our security guards, and once we're back in school face-to-face, you'll see their smiling faces every single day. Ms. V, she is our administration executive, and she rules the EYC campus with a firm hand and makes sure everything administration-wise stays intact. You will contact her when she will be on the other side of the phone when you call EYC, and she will be on the other side of the emails when you email. Ms. Marla is our school nurse, and she makes sure in the health center that all our students stay healthy, and she's there to deal with all scraped knees and runny noses. A little bit more about the EYC way and our approach to learning. Now, the early years, the EYFS Curriculum, which is a British national curriculum, it had a bit of a reform last year, and we as a school took the reformed EYFS curriculum and thought this is a fantastic opportunity to create our own bespoke GIS curriculum with the EYFS curriculum as our foundation. So that curriculum at the moment focuses on these same guiding principles as the EYFS statutory framework. And those are a unique child, positive relationships, and enabling environments, which reduces learning and development. So we firmly believe in this philosophy, and it's something that we base all our lessons, all our interactions with our students, every time that we think of remodeling or changing a learning environment, these are the principles that we always come back to. The GIS learner skills play a really important part, and we made sure that that's embedded within this bespoke curriculum as well. So the EYFS curriculum talks about the characteristics of an effective learner. We replace that with the GIS learner skills because we feel the GIS learner skills bring even more to the table and will ensure that our students develop the soft skills that they need to be successful. Behavior and values is really important. That's one of the drivers of learning at GIS. And at EYC, we focus on these 3 rules of being ready, respectful, and safe when we need to manage behavior and talk about values. So you will also see that we adapted these rules to also apply to the online environment. And there's a video, which will also be linked to this slide, that talks students through how to be ready, respectful, and safe when they are online. Now, the areas of learning have not changed in the EYFS curriculum. They are still the prime areas, which is, of course, the foundation of the EYFS curriculum, and they support all the other learning areas. These are personal, social, and emotional development, which is a big focus for us and one of our drivers for learning at GIS. Physical development, and then communication and language. The specific areas remain literacy, mathematics, understanding the world, and expressive art and design. Now, the zones of regulation is something that I mentioned earlier, but something that we will definitely be focusing on a lot this year with our students. It focuses on these 4 zones in which students can classify or sort their emotions. And this is the language that we'll use when we talk to students about their social and emotional well-being in GIS. More information will be shared with you as well on this, and there's a fantastic slide deck that you can read at your leisure to inform yourself. Moving on to continuous learning. The continuous learning at EYC come in 2 formats, 2 parts that make a whole. So the first part is the live interactions, and those are the live Zooms with teachers and assistant teachers throughout the day. Families are also shared into an asynchronous tasks, which gives families a framework which they can use then to structure the learning throughout the day then with their child. Now, that learning on the continuous learning site, the slides that are available there, we do not expect students to engage with that for more than an hour in a day, because the idea is that whatever we do as an input is then transferred into their play throughout the rest of the day. We will guide families through that, and we will have a parent workshop soon on how you could do that if you're not sure. Now, the continuous learning site is the place to go, and that can be accessed through the parent portal. And this is where you'll find all the timetables, this is where you will find the slides, the guidelines, some support with technology, and just all the information that you need to know about learning online with your child. This is an example of one of the timetables. This is the nursery class, orangutans. We can see here that they will have their morning greeting every morning at 8:15. Some of these greetings will be as a whole class, others will be in smaller groups. This term especially, we want to start the year off with smaller groups to give the students more of an opportunity to get to know a smaller group of children in their class as well as their teacher, so that they can build those relationships, and this all leads on to their sense of belonging. You can see at the bottom of the screen is where you can click to see this week's slides. You can see some of the CCA sessions here from the past. And then here, speaking of the CCA, every Wednesday at 11:30, we have a story CCA, and all students are welcome to log into that. Our Mandarin teachers will have their Mandarin session once a week with the students. In nursery, we do that in smaller groups as well. And then we end the day with a belonging session, and that's where we have smaller groups of students getting together with their class teacher, mostly working on social emotional learning and just strengthening those relationships with their peers and their teacher, even though online. So similarly, the timetable for monkeys, tigers, and rhinos, just make sure that you click on the right class to see the correct timetable. And then the asynchronous learning looks something like this, right? The teachers have all different layouts for it, but what it comes down to is you will, on each day, have 2 or 3 learning activities to engage with. Some of them is recommended that it has to be done, while others are just, if you do have time to complete them, there's an expectation that families upload evidence of learning at least once a week so that teachers can assess those, but more information will be shared about that as well. There are some guidelines, and these will be shared in your slides. They're also available on the continuous learning site. But in these guidelines, you will see a link to the video, and that's the video where we talk about the 3 rules. And it will be fantastic if families can watch this ahead of time before Monday, if you have not done this already with your child, just to familiarize them again with the expectations of being in a virtual classroom. Now, as I mentioned, ILD uploads, we would expect families to upload at least once each week. Here you will find some guidelines. There's the parent app user guide. There's a link to the there's a video instruction on how you can install that and how you can use your app on your phone to evidence learning to support the assessment process for our teachers. More information about the ILD, or the Interactive Learning Diary. Our returning families will be well familiar with this already. New families, you would have received this information this morning, but just a quick flyover again. So ILD is our Interactive Learning Diary. It's a communication tool which showcases learning taking place and progress at home and at school. You can view your child's progress at any time. You can be involved with your child's learning and engage with EYC. And of course, it serves as a tracking tool for teachers. So when we're in school, families will be able to see the learning that's happening in the class, with sometimes next steps for the child to develop further. And then while we are on learning from home, the tables are kind of flipped, and we expect families to be doing an observation, not to rate or assess it, but just to provide us with some evidence of your child learning independently. And this is the important bit. Independently, when you see your child engaging in something, transferring some of the learning from their slides into their play, independently, snap a picture, just write something about it, or record a video so that the teacher can see how your child is transferring their knowledge, skills, and understandings from the learning into their everyday play. Now, what will you see in your ILD when you log into your child's profile? You should see some written observations. When we're in school during the first week, usually the teachers will write a daily summary of the learning that happened in the class, and that would go to families. Unfortunately, we're not in school at the moment, so during the first week back, you will receive a summary of the learning that happened in class on Monday, and then again on Thursday, and then after that, it will be individual ones for the students. The ones you'll receive next week, however, will be a summary of the class's learning and not individual. You will see video photographs and audio clips maybe of learning that happened in class, and that's also the similar evidence you can provide from home. And then where applicable, the teacher will provide next steps of what a student need to do or could do to develop that skill even further. You will sometimes see individual child, which means your child, observations on your child's development, and then sometimes of a group. So if your child works in a group and the whole group engages with something, it might be that the teacher records an observation for the whole group, and then sometimes the whole class. For new families, you will receive this guidelines and guidance by email as well.